Hello guys, and welcome back to the fourth tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you about another type of variable, and it's called an array, and it's a variable that stores multiple results. So say we had a variable called names. Alright, well, same thing as before, equals. Now instead of writing alright, so names Tim, and remember, always have to finish everything off with a semicolon. Instead of the one name, we can now write array. So that's going to mean it's an array of names. It doesn't have to be names, it can be an array of numbers, which just means multiple results. So the array is equal to, okay, so we need open and close parentheses. Alright, so our first one is Tim, and that has to be in they have to be in quotes, comma, space, quotes again. So next one's John, comma, space, quotes again, however many times you need to. You can do this 10 times, 100 times, a million times, just depends how slow you want your website to be. But I'll just put 3. And I don't know, nice girl's name. What's a nice girl's name? The only one coming to my head at the moment is Erin. I don't know why. Someone who's in the family. Okay. So now we have our array of names. So same as before, echo. Now this should throw an error out at us. Oops. Don't know what's going to happen here. So let's see. Oh. It's just an array. Okay, it says it's an array. Now, to get the values of this array, we have to, after the variable, put square brackets. Inside that we use quotes, and we just we have to put the number of which array, which value we want. Now, with arrays and most computers and programming, everything starts, it doesn't start off at 1, it starts off at 0. So believe it or not, Tim is number 0, John is number 1, and Erin is number 2. So if we write, alright, echo name 0, it should read Tim. Tim. Now if we change that number to, alright, 2, remember it's not going to be John, because John's number 1. 0, 1, 2, Erin. Erin. Okay. What if we want to read all of them? And this is something entirely different. It's called a loop. So to read out these variables in a loop, instead of writing echo names 1, echo name 2, echo name 3, we use something called a for each loop. Now what that loop does, sorry, and I'll explain everything after I do it. For each names as row. Alright, so this is going to say for every value inside of names, which would be Tim, John, and Erin, I want to store them individually inside row. Fair enough? Now, we can write echo row, remember, full stop, quote, quote, semicolon, and we'll put a break in there. Oops. Okay, save that. Let's have a look. Tim, John, and Erin. Now that's easy. You're thinking, what will we use that for? Well, believe it or not, this loops are used very commonly within PHP, and we'll be using them. Another one we'll be using is known as the while loop. And the way a while loop works, let's just set a variable, okay, variable count, and that is equal to 0. Okay. Now if we start a while loop, open and close parentheses, curly brackets, and I didn't explain to you before, but loops always start off with the name of the loop, then parentheses, and then the open and close curly brackets. Okay, the what do you call it? The conditions of the loop go inside the parentheses. So what are the conditions? We want while count is less than or equal to, let's just say 100. We're going to echo count, and we want to put this on a new line every time, so we'll add a break in there. And as before, we use concatenation, so always after a variable, full stop, and then open up your quotes. Okay, so at the moment, if we this will just run 0 forever. We run this. This is known as a an endless loop, and that'll just keep pumping out zeros until the server decides to kill it, and it'll most likely kill your browser. So what do we do with that? Well, after it counts, after it echoes the number, we want to add 1 to the count. The easiest way to do that is, count plus plus. Now what that does is auto increment. So every time this runs, it's going to plus 1 onto the value of count. So every time this runs through, that'll jump to 1. It'll run through again, 2, until it reaches 100. So that's less than or equal to 100. So once it hits 101, this loop will stop, and it will carry on with the rest of the script. Now, let's see how that goes. Our browser should have killed that, but it hasn't. So we'll hit the cross, hopefully it does it, and we'll just have to shut that one down. See what you guys make me do. No, I'm just going to pause the video, wait till it's back up and running. Okay, so we're back up and running again. Now if I hit enter, it will count all the way through till 100. And sure enough, stops all the way at 100. That's because we wrote less than or equal to. If we just had the less than sign, it will only go to 99. Sure enough, 99. But believe it or not, we use these a lot in PHP, and you'll see why later on throughout the tutorials. Okay, so that's all I have for you with arrays and loops for the time being. I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Hope you had fun. Bye.